guys, welcome back to my channel. And in this series we're going to be going over Uranus in the houses, okay? Uranus in the houses, and in this episode we're going to be talking about the 12th house. So having Uranus in your 12th house. And before we get into that, I just have to remind you guys to check out my new single. If you enjoyed the music in the beginning of this video, that's my new single, Can't Take the Throne. Definitely check it out here on YouTube. All you have to do is type my name and it'll definitely pop up. You can also check it out on Spotify, Apple, and on TikTok. So definitely check it out. I'd appreciate that. So getting back into Uranus in the 12th house, okay? And the first thing I can say about Uranus in the 12th house people is that these people have a lot of occult alternative knowledge, I like to say, okay? Occult alternative knowledge, because when we talk about the 12th house is the house ruled by Pisces. This is the spiritual house. This is the house that rules meditation, astral projection, spirituality, topics of metaphysics, meditating, prayer, okay, dreams, sleeps, mysticism, magic, all those spiritual things that we learn in the spiritual community, okay, all those types of topics. And being that we're talking about Uranus is a very intellectual planet, okay? So this is the planet that gets you studying, okay, learning new information. So with Uranus and 12th house people, they tend to study lots of spiritual topics of the 12th house, okay? Like I'm saying, astral projection, dreams, meditation, manifestations, okay? All these things that we learn in spirituality, which is very popular now. Okay, these are topics and subjects of the 12th house that Uranus and 12th house people tend to study and be very knowledgeable in. Okay, so you're going to have lots of what I like to call occult alternative knowledge, okay? And I say occult because a lot of this stuff isn't mainstream, okay? A lot of this stuff is still considered superstition and mystical, okay? These ideas of manifesting and dreaming and connecting to higher spirit and spirituality, things outside of our physical normal reality. These things are still superstitious, but you'll be very, very intellectual in these topics, okay? You'll study them, you'll understand them, because like I said, Uranus is the genius mind, okay? It's a study, it's a very intellectual type of energy. So wherever Uranus is in your houses, definitely can represent where you are a master at this study, a master at whatever the house subjects is bringing. Okay, you tend to understand this well, and with Uranus in the 12th house, you're going to study a lot of mysticism, you're going to study a lot of spirituality, you're going to be very intellectual, like highly intellectual in these topics. So I'm talking about reading books on, dreams, and reading books on spirituality, studying them on YouTube, being very intellectual in these 12th house topics, okay? This is a placement for people with lots of occult spiritual knowledge, okay? Tarot reading, okay, astrology, all these types of topics, definitely big on them, because again, this is Uranus, very alternative, unique intellect, and then in the 12th house of spirituality. So lots of study in this, very smart people, definitely people to go to if you want to know about, spirituality. Another thing with Uranus in the 12th house is this is the placement for being a psychic genius. Yes, a psychic genius. This definitely is, because, Uranus, wherever it is, like I said, in your chart, it's going to represent where you're a genius at. So the 12th house being about psychic abilities, you will be a psychic genius. And the way this looks like is basically with Uranus, you're talking about very intellectual alternative topics like sciences and different psychology topics and very alternative, unique subjects, okay? But you put this in the 12th house. The 12th house deals with our psychic abilities, our intuitiveness, how we just feel things and understand and know things based off of feeling and intuition. So this is the perfect placement as a psychic genius. Psychic geniuses get what we like to call downloads, okay? Just information being given to us. We just download it. And this is very true for Uranus in the 12th house, because a lot of the information, Uranus in other houses like the 11th or the 9th house, generally these people are very smart too. They know lots of alternative subjects and stuff like that, but they generally have to study it. They either have to go traveling and study it, or learn from different studies and networks and people that they learn from. But with the 12th house, this is psychic, so you don't have to really go out and study and learn all this information. This is why I call it a psychic genius. You literally could just intuitively get this information. It could be through a dream, okay? You could be dreaming, and you could be dreaming about something, right? Maybe you could be dreaming about planets or stars, and then you get this download from the dream that the true meaning of stars and their spiritual meaning, and why they're here, and the different reasons, the higher purpose for planets and stars. And then all of a sudden you start studying stars, you start studying the planets, you know. This is that type of placement, being like a psychic genius. Or maybe you're staring at the moon, okay, and everyone looks at the moon like, hey, you know, it's the moon, whatever, it's dark outside. But maybe as you're looking at the moon, you get this feeling, this intuition that maybe this moon means something larger. Maybe the way you're feeling as you're seeing the moon, you're like, maybe the moon represents emotions, and maybe this has to do with how we're feeling. And then you start studying the moon and getting all these downloads about what you feel on an intuitive level. Basically, what I'm saying is, with being a psychic genius, you're understanding these topics, these sciences, these studies on an intuitive level, okay? It's just being downloaded to you. You're just getting it based off of your intuition, based off of how you feel. You know, you could be looking at animals and observing them, and then just by like looking at them, you get this intuitive feeling that maybe this is the higher purpose for this animal. And then you start studying this animal group and start, you know, seeing that what your intuition was right, and you start learning about this animal and their species and all these higher knowledges of Uranus. But because of that intuition you got from just observing them, you know, you open your mind to different ways of the existence of why this animal is here. So again, this is like psychic downloads, okay? People with this placement can also predict the future, literally. Uranus deals with the future. It's all about advancement, okay? And again, the 12th house is psychic. It's all about being in tune. So you can predict certain things that are going to happen in the future. Maybe you understand that. Maybe you get a download that how technology is going to be advancing in the future. Maybe you are paying attention to the collective and you get a dream that this is going to happen to society in the future. Like, this is the placement for it, okay? It's psychic. You're being basically a psychic genius, and psychic geniuses, they're able to predict the future, okay? This is like being a prophet, okay? Because like I said again, Uranus is very future-based, very intellectual, but when you mix that energy with the 12th house, which is very psychic in tune, you're getting a lot of this advanced information strictly through just dreaming or just feeling, okay? It's like understanding complex topics and studies based off of an intuition, based off of a feeling that you just have. You know, you just go to sleep and you dream about something, and you get all these downloads through a dream. So these people are very blessed. They get lots of, you know, complex intellectual information on an intuitive level, just based off of feeling, just based off of dreaming and just being in your subconscious. They just kind of subconsciously naturally get downloaded into you. And it's a blessing because, like I said, with other placements, you would literally, you know, even though they're very smart, Uranus is very genius energy, you would still study it and observe it on a very logical level, whereas 12th house is very spiritual, mystical. So you don't got to study any of these things. You know, you literally, God is literally pouring this information into you through dreams, okay? Through daydreaming, okay? Through strictly intuition, okay? So anytime you're talking about downloads and being a psychic and predicting the future, predicting energies, this is the placement for it. Uranus in 12th house is definitely the placement for it. So very powerful, magical, advanced type of placement. These are definitely prophets, people who can predict futures, people who can understand and get downloads on very intellectual, complex subjects and topics based off of your feelings and your intuition. Also, with Uranus in the 12th house, these people can be a little bit shameful about their weirdness. Okay, Uranus definitely represents our weirdness, our uniqueness. This is like our quirky side to ourselves. So you have in the 12th house. The 12th house is our subconscious house. A lot of things are hidden here, are sunk very deep. So your weirdness could be something that, you kind of like don't want to show anyone. It could be something you're ashamed of. It's something you don't want to tap into, something you keep hidden, okay? And Uranus is very weird, of course, so a lot of your weird quirks, a lot of your weird interests, even in Uranus in 12th house, if you get a download about something, you get like a certain intuitive, intellectual information about something, and you just get this fact in your head, you might think, oh my god, I'm not going to share this because this might be weird, this might not be true, like even though I really believe it, it's just too weird and it's hard for me to even prove that this is real. Like, you might not trust, your intuition when it comes to these weird topics and subjects, your weirdness, your quirkiness. You just keep all of those weird informations and those weird subjects that you're into kind of hidden, okay? You don't really bring awareness to it and bring light to it, It might take a while for you to, Uranus and 12th house people, a lot of these gifts that you have, like I said, at first you might think it's just very weird. Later in your life, you might be able to, when you have more experience with this energy, you might be able to express it and share your unique ideas and intuitive downloads with people. But at the beginning of life, this could be overwhelming. It could feel kind of weird to you, getting all these like weird intuitive downloads and these weird thoughts and imaginations in your head. You might think it's weird and keep it to yourself. So you don't like to bring out your weirdness because it's very powerful. And at first, it's not seen as a strength to you. It could be seen as weird. So your weirdness with Uranus in 12th house is kept to yourself. Your little psychic gifts and intuitive downloads, they can be kept to yourself and it could be something that you're ashamed of. So be careful with that. Don't let that last too long because you are actually very powerful and you got to share these downloads with people, right? We're in a very, spiritual era right now. We want to know this information. So Uranus in 12th house people, please do not be ashamed of your little quirks and your weird downloads and your unique information, okay? Because as weird as it is, it's so important and it's so on point. So definitely share that with us. Also with Uranus in 12th house, this could be a lonely placement, okay? Uranus rules our network, our friends, our associates, and 12th house is hidden energy, okay? Subconscious, unconscious energy. So a lot of your friends, your associates cannot exist. This could be a placement of no friends, okay? Maybe you're alone a lot. Maybe it's hard for you to find a network or find a community, find friends and people to associate with. So you spend a lot of time alone, okay? 12th house is the house of loneliness and being in solitude, okay? So with Uranus being here, this is like putting your friends in like the unconscious zone where they don't really exist or they're hidden. So, your associates, your friends, you can definitely have very little of them. This could be, a place that you have a hard time grasping to people that connect with you. And this could be because you're very super different and weird. Like I said, the Uranus in 12th house, you guys have this amazing, innovative, weird, unique imagination. So a lot of the things that you're into are very different, unique. So you're a very unique person. So it might be hard to relate to people because of the imagination and the subjects and the topics that you're into and that your mind is always in. It can be hard to relate to people because you're so weird and different, But also with this could be a blessing in disguise, okay? Uranus in 12th house, a lot of times the universe needs you to be alone so that you can take time to trust your intuition, trust these information and these downloads that you're getting, okay? If you're constantly with people, and dealing with like society and mainstream society all the time, you could not be in tune with your intuition. And in order to do that, to be in tune, you need to be alone. You need to be in solitude. You need to be within yourself. So that peaceness is required in the 12th house. You know, the 12th house requires solitude, regardless, whatever planet is there. And you're definitely going to need this in order to trust your unique, quirky downloads. You know, to practice this, you need solitude. So it can be a blessing in disguise to not deal with so many people and not have such a social life. Also, your friends could be very sneaky too. Okay, they could be sneaky. Okay, they could be hidden enemies. Okay, your friends could be hidden enemies. So it's probably best not to connect with so many people, dealing that your friends is in the house, the 12th house, a very sneaky, unconscious house. So you could be very unconscious about your hidden enemies, people who are against you. 12th house deals with our hidden enemies. All right. And with Uranus, our associates being here, a lot of them could be, you know, your associates. Okay. So there's a certain unconsciousness and gullibleness that deals with your associates and who's your friends. Either you don't have many or you're not aware of them. Okay. And when you're not aware of your friendships and your associates, there could be a lot of activity that could be coming for you that you're not aware of. So definitely something to keep in mind when it comes to your friends, your networks. This is something that will kind of be a struggle. Either they're hidden enemies or you just don't have a lot of associates. And as much of a pain it could be, it's also a blessing in disguise, because like I said, with Uranus in 12th house, this powerful energy, psychic genius, you need time in your solitude alone to practice this energy, to practice your intuition, to understand it and not be so weirded out by it. Also, with Uranus in the 12th house, this is a placement I can say is like a spiritual reinvention, okay? Something spiritual, mystical happens. Maybe you have a dream that changes your life and you gotta redo your whole life. Maybe, you know, you get an intuitive feeling, or something happens spiritually on a mystical level, you know, that you can't even explain logically. You know, but it causes you to change your life drastically, because again, Uranus deals with shocking events, deals with reinvention, having to redo things and reinvent things. But this can happen on a spiritual level. So spiritual level, 12th house, meaning like a dream, like you get a certain dream, or something that you can't explain happens to you, or you get certain signs. Maybe you're getting constant numbers of some type of warning that something about your life is drastically going to change. Because again, Uranus deals with innovation and change, reinvention, like drastic, shocking things that make you take a left. So these things can happen to you on a spiritual level. So you're getting messages from your dreams. You get a dream and then all of a sudden you got to change your life, or change where you live, or change how you do certain things. Okay, or you're getting certain spiritual signs like a bunch of numbers warning you that something shocking and different is going to happen, and then it happens. You know, very mystical, spiritual things that happen to you that cause you to reinvent your life. So with this type of placement, definitely be aware of that, because it can be a little bit confusing. You know, spirituality, mysticism, it could be magical, not logical, how these events happen to you. You know, but you gotta change, okay? This could be a spiritual awakening. Okay, definitely be mindful of that, because it could definitely get chaotic spiritually. Okay, spiritual attacks. You know, it could feel like a spiritual attack. Like, oh my God, am I getting attacked? Why are these things happening? I can't even explain them. I feel like I have bad luck. But really, it's happening to you so that you can reinvent your life, change the way your life is going. Okay, again, Uranus is your reinvention, all right? And 12th house is spirituality, so you're getting spiritual reinventions. Also, with Uranus in 12th house, I did mention how friends can be limited. Okay, friends can definitely be limited. However, at the same time, this can manifest a spiritual community. Okay, Uranus deals with communities, societies, okay? So at some point, it could be hidden to you because you're trying to gain knowledge and understand your intuitive psychic gifts. But once you get a hold of that, you can create your own spiritual community. Okay, Uranus deals with communities and societies, and the 12th house is spirituality. Okay, so you can create your own spiritual community. Maybe once you start understanding your gifts and understanding your power, having control, you then can use your Uranus powers to actually build a community, and you get to connect with people who actually think on your level, who respect your ideas, who are interested in this. So you don't have a lot of friends, especially in the beginning of lifetime, when you're starting out, because you gotta develop yourself first. You're too unique to just have any type of friends. And later in life, you can develop your own community of people who are interested in your unique spiritual ideas, okay, your mysticism and your magic and all your innovative ideas. This could be a community that you build later on. Maybe you have a following on YouTube where you teach all these spiritual things and they all follow you. Maybe you're out here teaching other people, your downloads and stuff like that, and you create a community where they all follow you, okay? But whatever it is, you can create a strong spiritual community, because like I said, Uranus is a very intellectual house and it's a very social one. So this is community and network. And even though it's hidden in the 12th house, eventually when these energies mature, it becomes you having your own secret society. Like you have your own club, you have your own spiritual group who are interested in this unique, mystical, innovative information and ideas. So you finally eventually create your own spiritual group. You finally find your own place, okay, in your own community. You can even be a part of a secret society, okay, because Uranus deals with society. It's very similar to Uranus in 8th house. Uranus deals with society, and 12th house deals with hidden energies. So society that's hidden, your group, your club, your spiritual community, whatever, is a hidden one, something unique, something a lot of people don't know. You guys can be like a secret society, a secret club. So there's definitely community that comes within this. It just has to be developed, okay? Uranus, 12th house energies always have to be developed through awareness. So once you are comfortable with your knowledge and your psychic abilities, you will reach the time where you get to share it with people. And the people who are going to be interested are going to be unique and different just like you. And you're going to build your own community, a place where people can share and learn these unique ideas that they normally wouldn't have been able to, because a lot of things that you guys are into, Uranus and 12th house people, are not mainstream, okay? They're very quirky, very different, very magical, very mystical, but very innovative. So definitely you could create your own spiritual community, have your own kind of fans, your own place, or be a part of one. Also, with Uranus in the 12th house, this is a placement for people who are artistically innovative and different and unique, okay? 12th house is a very creative house, okay? It's not only intuitive and psychic, but it's also creative and artistic. So the imagination here is strong. You gotta think about it. This is a house of dreams, escapism. This is a very artistic, creative house. Very intuitive. Intuition deals with music and how we stay in tune with the sound waves and everything like that. So these are very creative people, but in an innovative way. So you can do something different. Maybe you can start a band and you guys start a cool, unique genre. Maybe the way you guys are playing the instruments and the sounds you guys are using is different and unique. You guys come together to make some type of unique sound, okay? Maybe, you're playing an instrument and instead of playing it the standard way, you decide to play it in a different way and it causes a different sound. And here's a whole different, instrument now because you decided to play it a different way. So it's creative innovation, okay? Maybe you have an idea for a film and you create unique characters and creatures. Okay, this is a great placement for like sci-fi. Maybe you're creating a sci-fi film and you create this unique world because you have such a big imagination in it. And not only is it big because it's 12th house, but it's also unique and different. So there's like weird creatures, like you create like Lord of the Rings, like sci-fi type of unique fantasy, movies are definitely a placement for this in terms of like having a unique idea, a unique vision artistically and creatively. But this is the placement for it. This is the placement for turning your art into something innovative. Using your art to go against the grain, doing something different. So definitely tap into your creatives. If you're one of those 12th house people that are more onto the creative side, maybe more than the psychic spiritual side, you're more into the art side, definitely tap into it with Uranus in 12th house, because you will not only be artistic, but you'll be innovative. You'll change something about music. You'll change something about art. You'll change something about creativity. You'll do something very different. Okay, innovative. And it's really, really big. So definitely a huge gift. Definitely creatively innovative, artistic geniuses. Okay, you're able to set different trends with your artistic ability. Go against the grain with your artistic ability. Give us something new. Your imagination is so innovative. It's not only magical, but it's also unique and different. That's why I say, like, someone who's into film, with the 12th house energy, all about vision and imagination and art, with that Uranus influence, you can create this film and make it like the most unique, different thing you've ever seen. So definitely tap into those artistic gifts, because you will change the game. So yes, that is Uranus in the 12th house. This is a very unique, blessed placement. Like I said, this is the placement of being a psychic genius, okay? Just getting intuitive downloads, what normal people would have to study. You just get all this information through a dream, through just the universe pouring this information to you, because you're an open, intuitive vessel. So you are a vessel for knowledge, and don't be ashamed of it, Uranus and 12th house people. You need to share it. It might be lonely at first. You might not have anyone to share it with because it's so weird. But I'm telling you, you gotta train, practice, get used to these energies, master it so that you can share it with the world, because you are so spiritually gifted. You are literally a psychic genius. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. That is Uranus in the 12th house. And if you did, book a reading with me. I do astral readings as well as tarot. All you gotta do is email me and we can go forward with that. Also, check out my music, my videos. All the links will be in the description box below. And I'll check you guys out on the next video.